In task 3, you're asked to find the perimeters of various shapes. The perimeter means the distance or the total distance around that particular shape. Now, before you start, please make sure that you are aware of the length of each particular length of the shape. Now, for a rectangle, it might pay to actually label the sides opposite. We sometimes call them parallel sides. So the 8 corresponds to the 8. The 6 corresponds to the 6. So the perimeter is 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6, which is going to be 28 centimetres. When it comes to question 3, we've got a much more complex shape, but all the side lengths are given. Now, sometimes what I do, I put little dashes through the ones I've covered as I go, just to make sure they're all accommodated. Now, it's very easy to lose track on these things, so I'm just going to go through and just quickly put them through the calculator. It's not a calculator difficulty type problem, but it can sometimes help people. Now you can see I've got a total of 6 sides. Sorry, I should say 5 sides. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 side lengths there at 15.1 centimetres. Question number 5, what I've done, I've redrawn the shape. Now if you do this very quickly, you'd find yourself adding up just 4 side lengths, but clearly there's a total of 6. Now I've got to use a bit of subterfuge here in order to find out the missing lengths. The right hand side of the shape, 8.5 metres, so it gives you 1.0 metres. And along here I've also got a missing side length of 10 metres. So the 5 and the 1 adding to 6. The 1 and the 7.5 adding to the 8.5. So in other words, a total of 5. So 6 plus 8.5 plus 5 plus the 7.5 plus the 1 plus the 1. And yes, I'm going to do it in the calculator. That way I make sure I've got my 6 side lengths. That gives me a total of 29 metres of perimeter. In question 9, you're asked to find the circumference or the perimeter of the circle. Now, when we're given the distance across the total width of the circle, we say that's the diameter, or D, is equal to 8 centimetres. Now, calculators will have the pi button somewhere hidden on. You have to look a little carefully. On the Casio type calculator, if you have it, I've got it there as a little yellow button. Now that doesn't appear unless I press the shift button there. I'll work it through. So in this instance, circumference pi times 8. So, on my button calculator, it comes up as pi. Now, if I was to press equals, it's 3.1415, etc. It's an irrational number, it keeps going. So in this instance, I multiply that by the 8, and then I get a total of 25.13 centimetres. Now, please do not worry if the calculator you use runs it slightly differently. But make sure that you get familiar with where the pi button is located and how best to use it. I'll just demonstrate that again. So I have to go shift pi, comes up as the Greek letter pi, multiplying by 8, straight through gives you the 25.13 centimetres. Question 11 is what we call a composite shape. In other words, we use our knowledge of the geometry of the two distinct shapes that are making it up and look at the outside length. The perimeter means imagine that you're walking around or tracing around the shape. Now I've got three parts of a rectangle, the 8, the 7 and the 8, and I've got half a circumference which has the diameter of 7. Now I've written this out quite mathematically. It is quite a hard problem compared to the others you've done. Half times the circumference plus the 8, the 7 and the 8. I've written it down in notation that my calculator will handle. Rest assured, your calculator should be able to handle that quite well. So if I do this on my calculator, I'll just move that up. A half is 0.5, or 1 divided by 2, times pi. Now on this calculator, I've got to go shift pi times the 7 plus the 8 plus the 7 plus the 8. Before you press equals, just check your entries. So this first part recognises the outside of the half circle, semicircle, and the 8, the 7 and the 8. And you'll see here extremely close to 34 centimetres.